Hi, my name is Masai Sepuru. I am a multi-disciplinary artist, theatre maker, I'm a poet, I'm a painter, and I'm a musician as well. And I'm with Pulse. When did I start? I don't think I started. I think I've always been an artist. I always say that I did not become an artist, I've always been one. I can trace back as far back as I could remember. I've always been a storyteller, I've always loved drawing, performing, just thinking about creating and being a creative. So there is not an actual, definitive answer to that question, unfortunately. I could not start. I think it was impossible for me to not become an artist. I think I would have been depressed if I was doing anything else other than what I'm doing now. I love it. I've always loved what I am. I've always loved what I would be, and I've enjoyed the journey thus far. I think it has been a very interesting journey, especially being a creative and an artist in South Africa, given the difficulties and many vicissitudes that comes with it. But why not, I guess. I think I had a pretty good year this year. The South African State Theatre invited me to showcase all my works, all my talents specifically. I did The Tragedy of Samuel Lemunye and Exodus. Those are two plays. We did them back to back. It was a double bill. I did an exhibition called the Milupilulu Moya. I'm going to perform another poetry showcase called Dark Magic. I recently dropped an album called Dipiri. So there's been a very interesting year. This is one of the moments that I'm most proud of. I'm mostly proud because of the people that I collaborated with, because most of them are the people that I started with many moons ago. And to see them and to be with them and to share stages with them now, that's something that I sort of hold very dear and very close to me. Art making, for me, the process, it starts with conversations. Everything that I do, whether it's painting, poetry, music, theatre, it's conversations. I have conversations with other people. I talk to people about what I'm interrogating, what I'm thinking about. The conversation could go for a month, 2 months, sometimes a year, sometimes a couple of years, just really talking about this thing, because I'd like to believe that art goes beyond the canvas, it goes beyond the stage. Those are sort of the final forms of art, but the conceptualizing, the conversations, the interrogations, that's for me is the process. And whether it's theatre, whether I go to check out the stage, whether I go to check out the materials, whether I go into studios just listening to beats, just not really in creating anything, but putting myself in that space and in that mental state to create. I think that's, for me, is the process. It's mostly just talking. If you have me on your phone, I'll just randomly call you to ask you random questions about anything, and then a few months down the line you see that thing we talked about, it's a play now, that's the process. I think conversations and talking about it, I think it makes me comfortable to then put it on stage or put it in a track or put it on a page or whatever form it develops in, so that's, for me, is the process. It's conversations. I like talking, I like engaging, I like asking controversial questions, engaging with scholars, professors, fellow artists, just talking, yeah, that is my process. Yeah. Conversations are the ones that sort of gets me in a trance-like space. What gets me in that space of trance and just losing track of time is conversations, conceptualizing, and then when I'm on stage, everything sort of quiets and disappears, and it's just me, the mic, and the audience. So for me, yeah, those moments. So first is the conceptualizing phase of it. I really enjoy it, so time is not really a thing that that's a factor. And then performing, being on stage, I really enjoy that part of the art, being on stage, performing. Yeah, those are the two things, the conceptualizing and the putting it on stage.
Some of our masks are not just masks, but bandages we wear holding in place our falling skin from surviving infernos of the past. Be gentle when you remove. The wounds are still scarring. The stitches are still holding. We waved too long to our lovers leaving. We did not notice the bridges burn. Some of our baggage is not just baggage, but luggage we carry, carrying pieces of ourselves we had not yet figured from where they fell. Some pieces do not seem to fit anywhere. We might have brought parts of our old lovers with us. They might have left with parts of ourselves. The past has not always been kind to our kind, the kind who loves wholeheartedly. Our hearts are always returned with holes leaking, but still willing to hold those who dare pour themselves in cracked, but still willing to fall in love despite the possibility of breaking. We are still building bridges with our bones for our new lovers to cross. Come, but be careful, do not step on shattered pieces of our hearts and hurt yourself. Thank you.
Imagining myself at my happiest a lot, whether I'm at a gallery exhibiting my work, or whether I'm on stage performing some my poetry, whether my play is on stage. So there's multiple and different phases and versions of that happiness, if you may, where I imagine myself being the happiest. I feel fulfilled quite frequent. It almost feels like a cheat because I've always been an artist and I've never had a doubt about it. So every time I put up something, whether it's a poem, whether it's an album, whether it's a play, whether it's a collection of paintings, when people get to experience those things with me, yeah, that's where I'm most happiest. The time where I was mostly challenged, I think, is the time most artists were challenged, and I think a lot of people would relate, was COVID, when everything sort of shut down and artists didn't really know what to do, and we had to learn how to navigate the social media, to put up work, but also what does it mean financially to exist on a social media platform to create your work, and how do you make money of that? How do you make a living of that? Because we didn't have the privilege of audience anymore for them to buy tickets, and events were then stopped. So that was the most challenging part of my career. What positive impact would I hope to have on the world in a meaningful way? I think my art, whether it's painting, theater, poetry, music, it's a provocation of conversation. I think a lot of global, national, continental problems happen because people are not having genuine, honest conversations about the things that they're going through. I think a lot of people only receive their information and their news from one outlet. There is a lot of cults that are formed, and it's this lack of dialogue and conversation that creates this separation. And my contribution is to create the type of art that not only aims to unite people, but most importantly aims to have people talking and engaging in conversation and having honest conversations. Sometimes conversations that are difficult. What you would find that a lot of people are already thinking these things. You would find that a lot of people are already in the space where they want to have these conversations, but they don't have the platforms. So my art, I hope it creates that platform. I hope it gives people that room to want to have conversations, that space to want to engage with one another without fear of being judged, basically.
They ask why I haven't written a poem about black boy magic. I asked, isn't disappearing enough magic for them? We have mastered the art of stealth mode, of turning invisible, of not returning. Black boy magic is forbidden. His skin is forbidden land. It is the valley of death. His last is forbidden pleasure received at the expense of her breath. Black boy magic is dangerous. It is the art of concealing demons. This is how it feels to be a werewolf, avoiding a full moon, a vampire dying of thirst. We know sleight of hand to deal the cards we were dealt. We use smoke and mirrors to hide our demeanors. How is this not magic? To be both predator and prey. To be in front of a trigger and still walk away from a crime scene. How is this not magic? Black boys are magicians. judged by the size of their wand. A man is never to show his wand in public, never show his wand to another man, but black wands are big though. Best believe it. Please believe it. His pride relies on it. It might be the only trick up his sleeves to keep you. We all know the spell. Once you've gone black, you never go back. But what if this trick fails? Then what is his worth? Other men have land, other men have oil, other men have ships. Black men have wands, and sometimes say Bible, or whichever one makes you scream and speak in tongues and call God. Black boy magic is working on a thin wire blindfolded. On this side you are human, and on this side you are men. On this side you are scared. On this side you are men. On this side you understand consent, and on this side you are men. What do you mean you didn't sleep with her? What do you mean she was drunk? Are you gay? As if being gay is an insult. Doomed if I do, doomed if I don't. I am suffering from the Houdini effect, constantly contorting myself into the concept of men, being applauded for how much pain I can take or how long I can hold my breath. Why won't you walk through the fire for me like other men? Catch a bullet with your teeth like other men. What is wrong with you? You'd like to talk about your feelings. You are soft, too soft. I like you as a friend.
If resources were and limitations were no object, what would I do? I think I would collaborate more. I'm big on collaboration. I would collaborate with the people whose work I enjoy. I would collaborate with people globally. I would collaborate more again with my friends. I think some of the things that we do, they're sort of limited by the funds, and we do the best we can with the little we have. Maybe let's see what happens when we have the means and we don't have, financial limitations. Let's see how far we can take it, And I think some of our art is how it is because the finances did not allow. Let's see what happens when that is not the problem anymore and how they will turn out. I think the disadvantage is that most of us have not lived or have seen our work how we have imagined it because of the limitations. But again, life comes with these limitations, and sometimes too much funds and too much freedom could hinder the creation of the work, because the work by nature itself, it is something that's supposed to be breaking limitations, supposed to be breaking boundaries, supposed to be existing in this space of lack and fixing that space of lack. In a paradoxical way, I'm already doing that. I'm already creating without limits because art seeks to break those limits, and if you take them away, I don't know if the art will be as raw. But again, it is this not knowing that is something I would like to experiment, and what happens when the limits are off. But I just have doubts, that it will come out the way it does. But it will be an interesting experiment to be a part of, Maybe one day, soon. Definitely one day. Next week. What is my advice for upcoming artists? So mostly this is like advice to myself. I think community is very important. Community of creatives, whether they don't have to do the same thing as you, but either they are behind the camera, hi guys, whether they are actors and you're a writer, whether they are painters and you make frames, whether they are producers and you're a musician, even if they're not within the same space as you, even if you're just a focus puller and they are a fashion person, I think the conversation will always sort of, go to the same realm, because you guys are creatives, you speak the same language almost. So never create an isolation and never limit your circle to only the people that do what you do. It's very important to engage and have conversations with people that do other types of art disciplines, whether it's film, whether it's radio, whether it's theater, whether it's photography. Always engage, always be a part of them, and that will encourage you to create even more. That will encourage you to paint and to view your work differently. And also it will create interesting collaborations. What does a model do with a fine artist? What does a photographer do with an actor? What does, so all of those things will sort of surface and interesting work will come out of that. If you only limit yourself to to hang around actors as an actor, or to hang around directors as a director, you don't really broaden yourself. I think the problem is that a lot of people only consume the type of work that they do, and that's quite unfortunate. I know a lot of people have not had an opportunity to go watch a ballet, or watch an opera, or go to a jazz show, or go to a gallery. These are not common things. People, if they are film people, they'll only watch film. If they are theater people, they'll only watch theater. If they are photographers, they only go to photography. And that's quite an unfortunate thing because you don't really broaden your imagination. You only listen to one type of artist, you only watch one type of movie, and that's quite limiting. So my advice to myself is to go engage with many other types of disciplines across the country, across the continent, and across the world. What would I say to me 5 years from now? I hope you're still dreaming, I hope you're still hungry, and I hope you still have a wild imagination. I hope you have not given up on yourself. I hope that you are still forming good relationships. I hope you're still a person that people could approach and want to work with. You have not isolated yourself, and you have not made your art such that it has access to only a specific type of people. Hope you finish that book that I started. I'm so sorry, but you have to finish the book. But yeah, that's what I would say to myself.
Rinale manong, rinale manong, nong nong nong, rinale manong, nong nong nong, rinale manong, rinale manong, rinale manong, nong nong nong, rinale manong, nong nong nong, rinale manong, rinale manong, nong nong nong, 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 rinale manong, rinale manong, nong nong nong, 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 rinale manong, rinale manong, rinale manong, nong nong nong, rinale manong, nong nong nong, rinale manong, rinale manong, nong nong nong, 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 rinale manong, nong nong nong. Thank you.